Those cheapy dippy companies, they pump so much money in the advertising and they use the cheapest gear, and every time there's a rebate on this or that, they flourish, and then 5 years later you look back and all these companies are gone. Go with a local installer who has survived the last 10 years, who has a showroom, who employs local staff, and that's the key message we've really been trying to get across.
And I think that's why we created Your Energy Answers, to really help educate and tell apart and make a better decision for consumers.
Presented by Your Energy Answers.
Welcome to a YEA podcast close to home, because today we have a bit of an unusual guest, somebody who actually is very close connected with YEA, and that is my co-founder, Leonard. And Leonard is really the guy normally behind the camera, behind the editing. He does all the work. I try to look as good as possible with a face like this, and Leonard actually then elevates it with AI and trying to make me look really good. Welcome to the podcast, Leonard.
Thank you, Markus. I don't think I use AI to make you look good. You already look pretty good, thank you.
You see, that's why he's my business partner, because he talks crap all day and I can handle it. So look, Leonard, energy. I mean, when we met, about 10 years ago, how much did you know about energy other than the energy bill?
Honestly, I never thought about energy, because at the time, energy prices were so cheap. It's something that you're set to forget, and the bill comes, you're just like, yeah, I got to pay for it. But since working with you about understanding solar and batteries, I've learned a lot.
So Leonard actually was my business partner when I was at LG Electronics, and we were selling solar panels, because he helped us to communicate out with the normal customers, and in some degree that helped us generate leads. And so you kind of learned solar really practically by making advertisement about it, by learning about panels, learning how to spell Q-cell. So what's the kind of, over those last 10 years, the thing that you've really taken away about energy as a whole, of how it really has changed?
Well, I wasn't your business partner at LG.
Oh, that's right. Well, we relied on you to create leads to make the LG dealers happy. So in some way, I was always working with you very closely.
Yeah, so just a little bit of backstory. So I run a marketing or digital agency, and I just happened to be friends with your missus, and somehow our path crossed to help you with LG to do some marketing and advertising. So that's how we really started our journey together. And the difference is you're coming from a perspective of selling quality product at a premium price. And as someone who's interested in advertising and marketing for a product that is usually outside the reach for most consumers, I was quite excited.
What do you mean, LG panels? Because we were twice the price of normal panels.
Yeah.
But look, one of my key drivers, still even here with Your Energy Answers, is that unfortunately, we're buying too many really cheap products, and then they end up in the tip, because nowadays a lot of stuff is throwaway, and we just don't learn. Because I've just seen it now with batteries again. I've seen an ad just a few days ago that it's so much lying going on in this industry. $27,000 crossed out to $3,900, right? A, they forget to mention that there's a rebate. B, if you had a car that was advertised for $27,000 and now at the car yard it's got to cross out to $3,900, you possibly would ask who killed themselves in the car and how long they were in there. Because seriously, I mean, how can you be so naive to believe you're going to get quality on that price point?
I think that's what we've been educating the customers since LG days. And we're still...
We still do it because unfortunately there are still cheapskates out there, and we've made a program about, remember Jackie with his battery that hasn't been working for 4 months?
Yep.
And we just tell people all the time, it's the one key message, go with a local installer who has survived the last 10 years, who has a showroom, who employs local staff. And yes, you could be paying 20, 30% more than the baseline advertised by a 500K away company who's going to just get a subby in for a day or two, and after that, it's set and forget. Forget about the warranties. It has no meaning. And that's the key message we've really been trying to get across. But unfortunately, because they pump so much money in the advertising, those cheapy dippy companies, and they use the cheapest gear, and every time there's a rebate on this or that, they flourish, and then 5 years later you look back and all these companies are gone.
I think that's the exciting challenge that we have in our hands. And I think that's why we created Your Energy Answers, to really help educate and tell apart and make a better decision for consumers.
So look, even when customer sees this, if you're thinking about batteries on our website, there are actually partners that most of them we worked with for 12, 15 years now, and we've seen their work and we see their warranty claims and they're low. And so in some way, I'd actually make the claim, you see, they don't pay to be on our website. We don't charge for a lead that's generated out there. And so for that reason, we actually believe we've got the best network of guys that are really focused on quality, on after sale on this website. We haven't really gone out and sold it. We haven't really promoted it. Hopefully people find it. But if you do look for a solar and battery, if you find a recommended party on our website, I'll put my left hand in the fire for those people because we worked with all of them and we know they're doing a good job.
How many of them do you think is from the LG days?
Possibly about 60%, I would say, 60%. Yeah. So we've seen their work literally going back to 2007.
Yeah, that's a good track record to have them as our partner.
And I mean, keep in mind, this is another big statistics, 800 solar companies over the last 10 years have left the industry, and they usually leave the industry because they have sold some cheap product. It falls down the track, but it fails in big numbers. And then the manufacturer goes, oh, see you later.
Yeah.
And then this poor solar retailer, not even really poor because I think they already know this is going to happen, is going to now be responsible for all those 500, 2,000 system warranties. So it's much easier to just close the doors.
It's a bit like catching a fish with a bomb
strapped to it.
versus a fishing rod, right?
Right.
Like the fishing rod is sustainable. It's slower, obviously, but some people just want to go in with a grenade and destroy the industry.
So unfortunately, it'd be very interesting how the whole battery rebate is going to play out now, because now it started off okay-ish, and we haven't had any major fires or anything like that, and I don't want to really say this, but you've seen the video when we just recently came back from Jackie's house, put on bricks.
Yeah, I don't think that was the battery fault. It's usually the installation fault.
Look, we can't fault the battery brand there, but also look, that 50 kilowatt hours of rebate that is being offered, I think the government got it wrong there. I think 25 to 30 is where it sits, and we're now in beginning of December. I'm going to give you a prediction within the next 3 months. That limit is going to change and going to come down. Because let me explain.
You're saying the limit of the kilowatt hours?
Kilowatt hours. So it's going to come from 50, maybe I think we're sitting comfortably maybe at 25 to 30. That's a good kilowatt hour battery size that most family would need.
But isn't the whole point to support the grid? That's why they need the 50 kilowatt hours.
Yes, but you see, the irony is that a lot of the very cheap batteries that are coming through now, they're actually not that VPP, they're VPP enabled, but they're not being connected up to the VPP a lot of times. And the other big issue is a lot of the inverters that are used on the cheaper batteries, they're so limited in their capacity to discharge again that actually they're not fit for purpose into the way they was designed.
I think you're right. Like what is it, 3 kilowatt hours?
Well, we see 3, we see 5. The backup is usually only maybe one circuit. That's the cheaper stuff. So most people think automatically a battery has backup. They only find out in a blackout that their battery either doesn't have backup or that the extra cabling and installation part that was needed, the installer saved that money and never gave it to them. So you got to really, as an end customer, say, really, but if you go already through a battery, you might as well get whole of house backup.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem. People just want the price. If you're selling for $3.99, 50 kilowatt hours, I go, oh yeah, that sounds good, without the educational part.
Okay, but just think about this for a minute. I don't necessarily argue that Tesla was very expensive, okay? But a Tesla battery with 13.5 kilowatt hours, 3-4 years ago, you paid maybe $13,500. Which means
just for the battery
to be added to it as an AC coupled. So that means you're looking at $1,000 per kilowatt hour. All right. I now buy a 50 admittedly the rebate is on it, so there's another 400 there for $399. So if I now, this is going to be challenging me on the math, but we're also overall looking for $24,000 on a 50. So we're now down to $500 a kilowatt hour. But for the end customer at $399, they're like at less than $100 per kilowatt hour from what used to be $1,000 with a Tesla.
Yeah.
Can you see how it's kind of like crazy times? There's no money in the after sales and no intention in the after sales.
There's why would you want to service after sales? That's so
not
much
make
work.
money there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the frustrations. And then the other frustration I've got with this whole scheme is we've just made a video establishing that this rebate has pulled a lot of panels off the roof. Because people go to their old solar system and go, oh, give me a battery. And then the bloke has to give them the bad news. Switchboard upgrade needed. Bigger system needed. And then they sell that and they get that. But all the old panels, they're 220s, 250s, 270s. There's no market. They used to be sent to Africa. The Africans go, stop sending us your crap. We want the 450 Chinese now. They're cheap. So you got no market for it, but they're still going to landfill. So we haven't got a proper, really well-established storage scheme.
Well, it's good that we can see some Australian companies out there now looking for opportunities. And you've just had an interview with PV. What is it?
PV Industries. So PV Industries is, I mean, you know the famous saying, overnight success only takes 12 years.
Yeah.
So this guy has been going since 2018, PV Industries, and he's been starting slowly to establish his recycling business. He's got one branch in Sydney near Bankstown Airport. He has another partner that runs it in Melbourne, but obviously he needs it all around Australia for transport reasons. And his biggest problem is in the middle of a solar panel being pulled off the roof in record numbers, he still can't get enough feedstock.
Yeah, I think the problem is people are unaware of it and there's no incentives right now for all the installers to, Well, I've had a chat to him and the truth is that even if you take the aluminium and you take the glass, there aren't so many recycle markets for the glass, for example, because it's got a special chemical in it and that chemical is to get light coming through more easily. But that also prevents it to be used in milk bottles or things like that. So for that reason, at the moment, there's a little bit of, he showed me a bench top, which was made out of glass, which doesn't have the silicosis problem. And I thought, oh, wow, that's great. Solar panels moved into glass. And then he says, oh, well, that company who's made those Australian bench tops just gone bust. I wonder why. Maybe it's there.
Well, it's possibly the price point.
No, I think it's also the electricity bill was too high to produce.
Well, it's true. Anything in manufacture with the electricity. So this is bringing me to the biggest scandal that I really think we're facing as a population at the moment. We have politicians, and I'm blaming both Labor and Liberal equally.
Hey, we got to stop blaming politicians. Seriously, our channel is just blaming politicians. Well, I think that's my interest too. We're actually telling our viewers to say, take control of your own energy, take control of your own things, forget about governments.
Yeah,
But
look, we are now reaping the benefits in terms of our higher electricity prices. I've just had the price list come through. I mentioned the company Globert, and I've done the numbers, and it was 37% up. Now, I've only been with them for a year, so maybe they've stung me with start you early and cheap. And second year after that, you kind of love us now, we really sting you, or maybe overall electricity.
I don't think that's just not, it's not just energy providers, it's internet, it's all the other.
No, but 37, look, because electricity, it's a bit like you got a bread shop, if flour goes up, everything in the shop's going up. So electricity prices are going through everything. 37%. On bills where people are already hurting right now. This is New South Wales. I'm not sure if it's other places, but we will really see people having, the old funny bill shock. So what can you do? If you're a tenant, you really got limited options.
Well, I think this is why I wanted to have this conversation. I think these are the subjects that we'll be touching next year. Or this year.
True, there are actually a couple of things tenants can do with cheaper bills. And let me explain one thing that I've just discovered, which I was really amazed about. How many electricity plans do you believe are in existence in the whole of Australia? All the energy retailers together, all the electricity plans, how many?
Is that including the older plan?
Yeah.
That's still running?
All the ones that are still running. So some of them maybe have 20, 30, 50, maybe 200. They have so many plans, but all the energy retailers, add them all up. What's the number?
You did give me a figure last time, something like a few thousand or 10,000.
That's a big number.
What's the number?
17,000.
Oh, there you go, 17,000.
I've asked that question a few friends we work in the industry last couple of days, and they said 400, 800, 2,000 I think was the highest. When you say 17,000, there's 17,000 energy plans.
And how many retailers?
Oh, you got me there now. I really would have to guess there now, but it would probably not more than 200.
That's still a lot for a country of this size.
Well, I know, because what we've done is we make people feel they got choice, but all those comparison websites, I mean, they're how do I describe that? They live on hope, because I got a big bill. I got to do something about it. So I go to these comparison websites, but what they forget to tell is some of those, they only have the companies on there who've paid to be on there. So you're getting choice, but only choice from people who've already paid for it. And then when you compare the outcome, it's smidgens.
Yeah.
So you know the rain's coming, you got no umbrella, you got to walk 5 miles, you will get wet.
It will be like you use the public road, but you pay for different tolls providers. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's like it's still the same public road. It's the same with electricity. It should be just one company at lower price. That's it.
Look, I do. The issue is this with the electricity prices, and we're going to make programs about that.
No. When we go to the toll part, it's really interesting. So it will be like I'll change my plan in different times and hours for peak and off peak. Like you create.
So you drive different times of the day.
Yeah. So every plans, people have to look out and go, wait, when do I drive? Which plan should I pick? You know.
Well, with 17,000 plans, you got no hope and no choice to work out where you go. But this is. I'm not going to talk about the company now because I want to actually help them promote themselves a bit down the track. But this guy's been a bit of a genius. He goes every night and scrapes with his computer programming all of 17,000 plans. And you give him the right to look at the data of your last use in the last 12 months. And now the government has said that information that is in your smart meter
It has to be public.
Is allowed to be shared, but you as the owner has to make the decision. It's not just shared anywhere, nearly. So if I say yes, okay, he can then take that data and look at all 17,000 plans. The truth is, within specific regions, depending how many retailers there are, sometimes it might only be 400 plans or 200, 150. But overall, there's definitely, in my opinion, too many Australia-wide. Anyway, it compares it, looks at your usage pattern, and then will calculate how much you would save if you get to the best possible plan that is available, right? And on average, he's saying he sees savings up to $400. So there is still variance about it. But you see, I have no idea when my biggest electricity is coming out of the back of my PowerPoint and my smart meter. And then when I look at what the off-peak and when the different variances of different price points has made it so complicated and the demand chart's thrown in, I can't sit there and work out what that would do with my bill. So meaning I don't have the information and the understanding to make a meaningful decision as to which one of all these plans is the best one for me.
I think that was the conversation you had with Hugh, and it's designed to confuse you. So.
That's right. So then he tells you how much you can save if you move to this one. And I've tried it in my own house, and I had 2 that were giving me up to $500 a year saving, but he wouldn't show me which ones they were. So I have to subscribe and pay $50 to actually find out who they are. But if I save $500, I'm happy to pay $50. But the great thing is this, because
Wait, is it $50 one off or
No, it's a subscription. So I would pay it every year,
$50
$50.
to
But
save
if I make
$400,
$500. Okay, so I'm still ahead, but I'm going to go. Okay, I got on the best plan. That's it. I subscribe for 1 year. I get out of it again. Who cares? But because these plans always change, you don't realize it's like a boat sitting in the harbor. You watch that on slow in time lapse. The thing just actually moves all the time. So his algorithm then goes back into your plan, keeps on looking at your consumption, and then actually if there's a different plan coming through that's better and your existing plan got kind of slowly moved sideways and changed rules and now you're not so good anymore, you can actually either update it because he's recommended a new one, or maybe he'll even says, if you allow me to, you will always be on the best plan that is available anywhere in Australia.
Now, is there a cost to switching plan?
No.
Okay.
The irony is...
Not like a home loan.
No, but not yet. The irony is the energy regulators who actually let these 20, 30, 37% increases through, because the energy companies have to go to the regulator and say, this is how much we want to increase. And they then either agree or disagree. And all these increases we've seen in the last 5 years, they've all agreed to it because that's why we got them. But I see those spokesperson over and over after these energy increases get done, and they go, oh, I just have to say this like they go, got the glasses on, red glasses usually, standing out. Oh, I recommend you shop around. Now, guess what the energy retailer have given as the reason last time, that's 12 months ago, that they had to increase the electricity prices?
Inflation.
Because so many people shop around and churn.
All right, fair. Yeah.
So please go and shop around. Next year, so many people shop around. Now we have to change it all the time. That's costing us so much money. Got to increase the prices.
I think that's the problem, where Australia is living off the most unproductive economy. They're just making money from nothing.
We are saying currently the Australian economy is turned into a Ponzi scheme, whereby the immigration is bringing in the demand. Mm-hmm. The lack of building and house prices has put the prices up. That means baby boomers like me feel that maybe have 2 houses or so. One day we sell one. There's a lot of cash coming into the bank. I can live like a king. But all the future generations, I bought my first house at $80,000. I say that to young people and you just see they feel like getting the knife out.
Well, there will be
80 was a decent amount. I was scared with my $45,000 mortgage.
How much what was the average income then?
Maybe $28,000.
Oh my God.
So it was 4 times my earning. That was the value of the house. Yeah. Even if you say $100,000, which is a decent earning, they would make a house $400,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
A nice house, close to the
now
city.
It's 1 point something million for an average house.
Yeah.
What's the average income?
Sydney.
70,000?
Maybe 75.
Yeah.
So it should be really $280,000, the house. So it's really gone all a bit sideways. My personal opinion is, and we're moving back into politics again, but that often we fix the symptoms. Often we fix the, what's the saying? I'll give you a sample. With electricity prices, we throw a $300 rebate at it. Doesn't fix the underlying issue, costs the government more money, got to come from somewhere.
It's just a patch. They're just patching it until the next election. Patch it, next election.
So it's like a boat that has a bit of rust. Could be surface rust, could be a bit deeper. We're not really grinding it out.
No. It's a boat with lots of holes. They're just plugging it. The next hole will come about, instead of fixing the whole boat or chucking it.
Right, okay. So look, we really believe that energy going forward, because it's also linked to climate change, it's linked potential to the survival of the human species. That's why we did the channel, because we really think energy, you made that video years ago. What was it called?
It's not money that makes the world go round, it's energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, that's true.
Yeah. Well, what's all the wars and all the debacles and, everything's related to energy.
Yeah. So look, we sit there sometimes. We've got a lot of young people working with us in the company. We've got now 7, 8 people all together producing the programs, looking after solar retailers, only the quality ones, working with them to grow. But we really feel that Australia, I go back to Germany very shortly. Germany doesn't have the raw materials Australia got.
Nope.
Germany doesn't have the climate Australia got.
And it doesn't have the Russian oil anymore or gas to help their
It's
energy.
still got to survive.
Yeah.
But my point is that we're so lucky as a country. In some way, I feel it's a curse because we don't have to be innovative.
We used to be innovative.
I know, but
I remember my dad used to make picture frames, making those frames.
I'm sorry to say, but I don't think innovation, cochlear ear implants, I would call that innovation. Picture frames.
That was innovation at the time, He was coming out with different shapes and sizes,
Back in his garage.
No, he was working for a factory at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I do think Australia used to be more innovative. I think it's still happening, but the scaling. So remember Brian Greycat who came here?
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen the episode, I don't think it's run yet. This is like a heartbreaking story because what happened, this guy has found $40 million in investor money to build an Australian battery manufacturing capacity. And I personally think that $2.3 billion of federal money should have insisted on 10 or 20% of Australian content in the battery, and we would actually have an industry. But now we send it straight off to another country, and in this case with batteries, it's literally all China. Nothing wrong with it. They buy our gear too. But why the hell are we not saying within the next 12 months, 20% of these batteries need Australian content? We would have created an industry. In the whole battery development, where do you think we are right now? Are these batteries perfect? Are they going to never change? Are they not going to be improved? Where do you think, if this would be the ideal battery perfect and this would be the first rough battery, on that stream, where are we?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I think it's going to ever evolve. So right now it's functional. The price point is feasible. The safety is feasible. Obviously, there's new tech coming out. You hear about carbon and all these other materials and ingredients. So I think right now it's fit for purpose.
True, but if I'm allowed to quote Winston Churchill, and I hope I get it correct, if you ask me where we are in the journey, we're definitely not at the end.
Oh, no.
We're not in the middle. We're possibly just at the end of the beginning. Because I compare it with the shiny Cadillacs that were released in the 50s in Technicolor ads, sometimes with bikini-clad models, whatever, and people were looking at it and it was so desirable and, aspirable, and it was the latest tech. But those Cadillacs, they had a steering wheel that was piercing you in the chest and killing you.
So you're saying the battery is the Cadillac right now?
I say the battery is the Cadillac. It's not going to kill you.
I think it's way past the Cadillac.
No.
It's got an airbag. Come on, you're going to get
no seat belts,
six
no
belts, fire
airbags,
suppression.
no crumble zones.
Most battery has fire suppression now built into them.
Look, my simple point is the integration of the battery into the house, the integration of the battery with the vehicle to grid, the integration of the battery with the solar, the integration of the battery with the grid itself and interacting. They're all still opportunities that are not fully realized.
I think it's not been challenged in Australia because we don't have the tech. But in China, I'm sure if once we visit there, they're already 5-10 years ahead of what we're getting at the moment. And honestly, I think the conversation, you got to really thank Elon.
What do you mean, Elon?
Yeah, Elon Musk for pushing the Tesla. Because of Tesla.
You got to thank him, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but till he gone nuts.
No, I don't think he's nuts. I think he's just opportunist. He's a businessman. He's got to sleep with the devil sometimes to make some money.
Is that your opinion?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
We probably have to sleep with the devil.
No, I'm never going to do that. No. And I know there were stories in the Bible where people say we're never going to do that and it should happen. But no.
I think I'm joking, but
we're not going to recommend crappy product that causes headaches.
I agree. I think the biggest lessons I've learned from our time together is, go for quality if you can and understand the product you're buying. That is super important.
Look, this is the golden rule. If you save $2,000 to $3,000 because of solar and battery, and you buy the better gear, and even the better gear can fail, which that means you then need the one that stands behind it.
But the point is, you made the best decision at the time. That's all you can ask for.
I know. But for example, we had that story with the end-phase battery. Remember?
Yeah.
Which 7 years it was old,
and it's still good.
And somebody turned it off for 12 months, and we thought, in the fine print, you turn your battery off for 12 months, that could be voiding the warranty. And we turned it back on, it was still working. So you buy quality gear. And even the irony was that Enphase, when we asked them for a favor for this poor guy, they actually said, look, if it died, we'll give you a new one. So that's a solid company that stands behind their product.
I think you got to change the consumer behavior. If they're worried about environment or product or, their wallet, it's like, remember I bought a Kogan vacuum cleaner? It's like, I think I bought it for like $100 and literally lasted a year, and then try to find a replacement battery for it.
Yeah, that's usually, what happens to the cheap gear, be it those, that hands-free vacuum cleaner, the battery dies and then you realize it's fully wired into the damn thing. It's not plug and play. Right. And you got to chuck it out.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, really where what I call the
right to repair?
The contradiction of our society.
Yeah, because people just want the cheapest price.
Yeah, I know, but you see, the environmental cost, you go to council cleanups now.
Yeah, I haven't factored that in to go check it out.
You see all this stuff that was actually cheap. It lasted possibly just long enough that people don't feel ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
But I still got some cedar chests at home, Australian cedar, cut all the bloody trees down, hard to find. In any case, I've got timber chests. They're not fashionable, but they're very functional still. And as long as my son doesn't have a kind of modernization craze and chucks them out, they'll still be functional in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But some of the plug and play, put together, screw them yourself together in the afternoon on a Sunday and go crazy kind of furniture. If you don't use the glue to keep it all together, I wasn't trying to avoid names. You see it all busted in the council cleanup, but they're promoting themselves as a sustainable company. And this is where I find the irony. We're realizing now the world has finite resources.
No. It is sustainable if they can recycle it. But there's no recycling program, just like the solar panel.
Yeah, but because the economic incentives to make it recyclable isn't there. And the irony is, I always thought we're never going to get food out of different countries in Australia. We grow our own stuff, we should eat it. Now, I go to a supermarket and there's stuff from all around the places that's coming in. I go, how the hell can they bring it all the way here and still be cheaper than what we are? And the latest one is now fashion.
Yeah, you want free
My
trade?
wife, I saw a whole bag of stuff that has only been bought a couple of years ago. And it's all cheap, plasticky polyester stuff that's been worn 10, 15, 20 so it's throwaway fashion.
Are you blaming your wife now?
No, I'm not. Look, she is very frugal, really, in one way. But a couple of things she bought and she realized, they look good online, but it just did feel nice wearing. And I do like a bloody whinging baby boomer, but I really want to kind of think there is a point where you got to think how for young people, the mountain of success in regards to getting a house in Sydney or in other parts, in terms of meaningful work with AI coming, it's actually quite a scary world. And Australia is actually still one of the luckiest places to hang around and do this stuff because we got the size of the land, we got the raw material, we got the sun, we're far away from conflict,
For now, until we get dragged in.
Well, those bloody U-boats will drag us in. We should have never bought them. We should stay. There's another
U-boat.
U-boats, the submarines.
Yeah, the submarine, not the U-boat.
U-boat is das deutsche Wort.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we won't get them for a while.
Yeah, but we're paying for them already.
Yeah.
So these are all subject matters that are kind of close to us and that we discuss in the show.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of interested in this, if you kind of feel, oh, this guy's, because, we don't depend on big incomes anymore now. I mean, we got to make a little bit of money, but we're not greedy. So we can actually have fun and discuss the stuff that really is on people's minds.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I was keen about this project and working with you is that when I look at the topic of energy, not just from solar and battery perspective, it's such a broad topic. And I think a lot of public are not aware of it. When you go and ask people on the streets, like, oh, how much is electricity bill? Most of them don't even know how much their electricity bill is, unless their parents.
No. Hang on.
No.
You ask the young people, they haven't got a clue because their parents pay. But you ask the people who are paying it, they definitely know how much it is.
Yeah, correct. So I think there's an opportunity to educate the broader picture, the broader conversation about energy, not just from our electricity bill perspective, but everything. Just like you said, fast fashion. How much energy does that go into create a piece of clothing that you wear once?
But let's say, on that whole debate about net zero and all that, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say my logic tells me if I release the energy from billions of years of sun getting onto the earth, and that's just coal and oil, what it is, then eventually it has to have an effect. It's like me having a bit of smoke fire here in the corner of the room. Eventually we'll be starting to cough and we wonder what happened to the air quality. So I can't see how actually people still can argue about it and say, oh, it's only increasing a million of this and that in the atmosphere and make this. Those arguments are over. But what I have a problem with is, as a society, when I grew up, that shows how old I am, we had a TV repairman in town. He did the radio. He could fix the vacuum cleaner. There were parts around and all of that. And that was relatively sustainable. And the further we've gone away from those periods, the more has the word sustainable been used and the less we actually have applied the practice. Because it's all one piece. You can't repair it. TVs, LG and Samsung, they give you 1 year warranty on the TV.
Well, I actually did repair a Samsung TV. It was a busted transistor.
Yeah,
it was quite old, but at least I could still repair it myself. I could open it up, go to JCar and buy the parts. But I think the new TV doesn't have those.
No, they deliberately have it all sealed in, and and so if you want to do that system, then at least there should be like the Japanese. They sort their waste in 14 different categories. Then there should be a dedicated TV drop-off spot where they get properly recycled.
That's the problem. You can buy a TV for $300, $400. If it breaks, how much is it going to cost for repair?
Yeah, but those $300, $400 TVs, that's a TV when you don't have a TV because the picture quality is really shit.
It's actually not bad. We've got 3 in the office.
Yeah, we got some Kogans here, and I tell you, I'm not happy with them. You sit there and trying to bloody turn them on and all that. It's not this. They say, oh, it's all the same. They look the same. They're not the same.
Going back to net zero, I think the younger demographic doesn't even know what the hell that means. What is net zero? What is this whole net zero thing? Can you elaborate?
Well, it'd be actually interesting to go on the road one day and ask it. But it basically means that the government's made some commitments with international signing of forms and agreements that by a certain year, and those are the differences, 2030, 2040,
is this through the UN?
There's an organization called COP.
Right.
I don't even know what it stands for. That'll be worthwhile looking it up. I should know it.
It's something about police, cop?
No, it's not. It's nothing.
They're policing the world?
No. It's not nothing big brothery. In any way.
To make sure your account is net zero.
I think it's 2005 is the benchmark, and we're trying to come back to the consumption of 2005. Even so, we have a growing world population. We have growing energy intensive activities. And so we got to find ways to shift out of the fossil fuel energy into other more neutral energies. But of course, the irony is, let's make it a gas hot water tank. If I now get rid of my gas hot water tank before it actually has expired and totally died as a matter of course, and now get a more efficient heat pump or whatever, at that point in time, obviously in the manufacturing, I've speed forwarded the manufacture of the heat pump before it would have normally maybe been purchased in 5 years when the gas died. So in some way, I've kind of actually increased the manufacturing CO2 in order to have less CO2 coming through.
Which is a necessary evil. It's a bit like saying, oh, should I just buy a second-hand petrol car? Right? And then maybe drive for another 5 years on fuel. That carbon footprint versus a brand new EV carbon footprint is a questionable.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean, hey, I can't work that one out.
That would be a great video for us to make. Yeah.
I think there are already stories about that But look, all we're saying is that Australia, the way it is, the way we are heating and cooling our houses, it's not going to be the same anymore going forward. And we can see you in Europe already. During COVID, my mum's house in Germany, her heating bill for that year was close to $10,000.
Euros.
No, I've already translated it, $10,000, which is insane, all right? But it basically means that inefficient homes, homes with black roofs all around Western Sydney, total crazy.
Yeah, it looks good though, Marcus. Black sleek, you know?
He's trying to be provocative, but it's not really working. We are still making stupid decisions that are against the energy footprint because fashion outshines logic. And in a couple of years' time, one day black... Look, you remember those red bikes in the 50s that would look very fashionable? Now you look at it and go, oh my God.
You got to make sure the government...
This is all timing. I mean, we're zigzagging all over this. The reason why we're partly doing this is to kind of give you guys an idea about all these things that the channel will be about, individual programs on various of these things. So we're not as zicky-zacky like this every time.
No, but we should make a policy that every roof should be flat in the future.
Maybe 5 degrees per tilt so the water does run off. But give me the job as energy minister for a couple of days or even as the PM. And we look at the energy policy. The first one is...
are you running for a prime minister?
No, I'm not running. I'm too old. But
what are you talking about? Have you seen Donald Trump, how old he is? I don't think you're ever too old.
Yeah, don't call me to Trump either. That's an insult. Okay, so the first thing, roofs going forward got to be solar friendly. Stop individualism on higgledy-piggledy roofs. It's stupid, number one. Number two, roofs in Australia as a whole in the cities should be the solar farms of the future. Stop building the bloody things 500 Ks away and then run the $1 billion transmission lines into the city. Build the damn solar on everybody roofs.
There's something more important.
I'm finished.
Every house needs a space for batteries properly.
That's right. Get a proper safe space in the future design of homes where battery and the whole kind of, there's more coming, can be properly connected.
Especially apartments too. I think that's a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we'll take that as number 3. Number 4, our whole energy, the way it's generated by the generator and then the distributors with the lines and then the energy retailers, it's too complicated. You know, you're creating these bureaucracies in between everywhere. And so Huon's idea of renationalising the grid, buy the bloody thing back, get the super funds involved, and then make that the driver of Australia's clean and green future.
Who's got the balls to do that though? And how do we...
I never said I'm not a friend of Donald Trump. I think actually the bloke is a bit of a... Actually, we're not allowed. We beep this out because guess what? As soon as you put words like that in your podcast, you can't boost the bloody thing because they think you're talking politics. Anyway, I believe, look, we only every couple of generations get a ballsy politician.
Who was our last ballsy politician?
I think Keating in some way, a bit mad, but he was a bit ballsy.
What about Johnny?
Johnny Howard?
Yeah.
No, Johnny Howard was very cunning.
Okay.
Nice guy sometimes when you met him privately, but he knew how to, he had a lot of failures. He lost many times, including leaderships and everything. But you know what? I have a saying, this is one of my sayings again.
But you get stabbed now, though.
Failures is the father of success. And so he, through all his failures, worked out where he has to sit in that middle Australia corner. I mean, the Howard battlers, if you don't get normal Labor voters to vote Liberals, the Liberals cannot win. That's why the Teals are kind of, they got a problem because they lost that kind of more lefty kind of part of the thing, and they now got the people in Parliament are a little bit more on the right, but because they all the more moderates got all slayed by the Teals. So the party's kind of going this way, but the Australian public is sitting here. And now because we don't have really a strong opposition, we got this big majority of Labor, but we got Albo in there. God, you're not supposed to say politicians. This is going to be a terrible podcast to ever boost. But because Albo is actually he wants to see himself as a safe pair of hands. So he doesn't make outrageous decisions. He's seen Gillard under the bus. He's seen Rudd under the bus. Rudd taking on the mining lobby groups, etc.
That's why he got sacked.
So my point is that Albo is just going, if I can get a few little changes done and I hang around for a long, long time, that's going to be my legacy. So we actually have this kind of in the middle when you really need ballsy decisions, when you need the future of Australia being developed and designed. We got basically people who stand for very little.
So where do we fit in that picture?
I suppose we can educate the Australian public that not everything that is sold like this is actually really that. And a sample is those 3 hours of free power. Sold as like a generous, really great thing, but you only take benefit of it if you go with the smart meter. And the majority of people don't have a smart meter. So it's like me, you're hungry, and I got a nice steak sandwich here and I wave it at you, but there's a glass wall here, you can never get it. But to the media, I'm going, free steak sandwiches here, okay? Can't get it. Bad luck. Only 500,000 at the moment of the possibly 10 million energy accounts can actually take care of that free power. But that wasn't in the fine print explained.
I think that's the same with our...
The media is doing a shit job nowadays. Sorry.
No, it's not just the media. It's also the energy retailers are not being clear about what these changes are.
No. The energy retailers, it's all about making things complicated.
Well, I've got something to say about Amber now, if you want to share. All
right, so we've actually been, we're going really all over the place. Apology in some way. Hopefully it's still interesting. But
I sound boring.
I talk too much, and you're actually the interesting part of the podcast. A lot of people out there will think that. I got a bit of self. I can watch myself, but except I can't change.
I think that's why the business can operate, because I just let you run.
You take over then.
That's all right. It's your show.
So we've recently gone amber, and on our building here. And Leonard is a little bit obsessed. He watches it all the time now. And we're going to make a video about VPPs. Are they worth it? How do they work? Are they going to stuff up your battery because they're really running them hard and don't give a stuff about your assets? It's like the 15-year-olds that give you a Ferrari. Is that what Amber is all about? So what have you found so far? Go for it.
Personally, I think the smart shift is not as smart as it is.
As the name says.
Yeah, because this morning it decided to charge from the grid. And I thought, what the hell? The whole day is going to be sunny and lovely. You should be charging about a battery. But you know what? I'm going to let it figure out, because it said to me it's going to start selling the battery at 1 p.m. Which doesn't make any sense. But
maybe, hang on, I'm trying to pretend it's smart. Because it's such a hot day, yes, there's a lot of solar, but did you know that solar produces less the hotter it gets?
That's true.
Therefore, maybe there's a lot of aircon coming on, and even with all the solar, it's not enough for all the aircon.
It's for anticipating
That's right.
The scenario.
With Amber, you're constantly in the casino playing roulette.
It is. And I found out what that demand charge is actually.
What's the demand charge?
Yeah, so I had to use our trusted Oracle AI to really question it. And so I fed it the data from the SunGrow data and also Amber's bill. Because there's a lot of things in there like, well, I have no idea what all these bills is.
We got our first Amber bill, have we?
We got our second Amber bill.
What do we pay?
We don't pay anything. It's 11. We're in credit for $11 or $14, which is not as substantial as I thought.
But we got to tell people we got a 13.5 kilowatt solar system and we got a 30 kilowatt SunGrow battery.
Yeah.
And
it has saved the business because since we've got the battery, this place has more than 3 blackouts.
This area?
Last night as well, it went offline. So I got an alert from my phone. Oh, you're now off grid. I'm like, whoa. And I got an Endova Energy saying we have a blackout.
It's not Endova. Endeavour. Dover. That's Endova. I think in England, is it?
Yeah.
Endova. Ooh.
So
sexy.
Let's get back to demand charge. So I found out that I think that day I just thought, maybe I'll control my battery and get a charge between 3 to 4 p.m.-ish. And the price was very cheap. It was like 5 cents or something. But I didn't know I reached over the 4 p.m. mark for literally 10 minutes. And that 4 p.m. mark is like a speeding fine. If you reach that 4 p.m., which is your demand, then you're going to get a speeding fine.
Because at that time, everywhere it goes up, the electricity use.
Correct.
And so they charge extra for that time.
Correct.
But you see, that's called...
Even the price is still cheap, which, it doesn't make any sense.
Basically, they're trying to get behavior change going, but all you see is demand charge and you don't understand why it's there.
Correct.
Then you can't actually change your behavior.
Exactly.
And then you got to be somebody slightly bit, sorry for the calling you like that, but slightly bit anal like you to kind of dig into it a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And so that means if you use the grid extra heavy after 4 o'clock, you're getting hit with a demand charge.
Now, the way it works...
Is that only for business or also for customers?
I don't know. I assume it would be for customers too because it depends on how much kilowatt you're pulling in from the grid. The more you pull, the higher that fines are.
But I would have just thought that they must have a unit at the energy retailers put away in a room that, it's like the Black Ops operation, to find ways to create bills to milk more out of the same kind of cow. I give you A2 milk, A1 milk, thin, big extra dollops, all of that, all from the one cow, charge you at different price points. And we found another way to milk the cow, and that one is called demand charge.
Yeah. But I didn't know until I see on the bill because we made good credit that month.
And then you got sucked up by the demand charge.
Yeah. So I was like, now I've learned something. Okay, never draw from the grid.
But most people would be just going, look at that bill. How scary is that? And they grumble and they grunge and then finally they pay.
And I like your argument that we need electricity price to go off the roof 3 times, 10 times for people to start.
Look, that was my argument in a provocative way. That's not what I want people to do. I don't want people in the middle of a cold winter not be able to heat the house. So I don't want that fan mail. Sorry.
I think my interest is to change the way people think about energy, right? If you look at what's around us right now, the clothes you wear, this podcast mic, the moment you wake up, everything you touch is energy.
Everything we touch has been manufactured and generated using energy.
Correct. So when people have that perspective, that might change it because who cares about poles and wires? At the end of the day, they just look at their electricity bill, So if I do a council cleanup and
that's
a great video.
And the stuff that I'm chucking out, the old TV, the old couch, it's actually all bottled energy, really, isn't it?
Yes. If you change the perspective, even the food, right?
If I throw food in the bin,
yes,
there's actually energy and fertilizer and all that.
So imagine
transport,
because we're thinking dollars right now. Everything is about costs, but you change that to energy. So the moment you wake up,
but you actually got to go one step further. because we got so many billions of people now. I mean, some people say humanity is a plague on the earth because we
are a virus.
Because we got so many people now with the needs and the desire for a high comfort level. It's easy for us to talk about in Western countries because we have that. That then the higher comfort also means a higher energy footprint. But the more energy we use, the more we potentially cause the greenhouse issue on the world. So in some way, our capitalist society and the way that we're running it with a throwaway society, we're cutting off the branch of humanity on which we're all sitting.
Wow.
This is getting very deep, isn't it?
That is profound. But that's the point of having our podcast and our conversation, our channel, is to dig deep, and hopefully we can shift minds and change policies and influence people.
I think change behavior a little bit. So but you know, what do they say? The march of 1,000 miles will start with one step, or so. There's some saying like that. So maybe everybody who's watching the podcast, think of one thing you can do to reduce your energy footprint a tiny bit.
I think that was my interest because I've been watching Greta Thunberg pointing fingers at politicians.
Yeah, you know what? For whatever reason, I don't even like her very much.
I mean, the intention is good, but there's no practical solution from her. I imagine if she start telling people, oh, here's what you can do. Switch off your light. Here's the tips. Here's what you do. Blah, 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 blah. Rather than just going, how dare you?
I think she's a bit on the spectrum, sorry to say.
I think we are all in spectrum.
No, she's a little bit on the I know everything kind of spectrum. People like that actually not helping the cause, I'm sorry to say.
I think you're right, because you can turn people off that who are pro-environmentalists and all that, because the behavior is not right. You know, or having people stick their hand to the floor, to the road. You know, to protest against environmental causes and stop traffic.
And then mums who are trying to pick up their kids can't go there and wonder when.
Yeah, and then you just go, oh my God, these extremist climate people. Yeah.
There's my saying again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But let's talk about a vision for Australia.
Well, let's talk about what we want to achieve next year, hopefully.
What do you mean with our channel?
Yeah, with
30 seconds vision. Food is going to be needed in the world. Mm-hmm. Clean food, without plastic, without pesticides, all of that. The world will value that. We've got a big country. We've got very efficient farmers. I think there is a future of Australia to be a food bowl for the world, but not of food only, but a food that is not genetically modified, that actually is not just sugary crap, but actually is, you know, good wheat, from spaghettis through to Australian-made Vegemite.
Well, beef.
Our
cattle industry is very good.
Yes, not bad. But again, the energy footprint of meat, maybe a little bit less meat, is actually not a bad thing either. Anyway, so where's the vision for Australia? That's what I want our politicians to talk about. I don't want them to fight about each other. I don't want them to meddle around in energy policies that go backwards and forwards, cause uncertainty in the industry and stuff us all up with higher prices. I want them to give us a vision, because Australia has to reinvent itself. They're digging up the coal, they're digging up the minerals, is only going to get us this far in the world of the future. We actually got to kind of bring the minds in. So going back now to the channel. So next year, we've got a program on panel recycling coming up.
This year, if you watch.
This podcast is probably going out in 26. Yeah, it's true. But so we got one on solar panel recycling and trying to get the recycling industry going.
Yeah.
And again, crazy. 2.3 billion on batteries and not a single dollar for a battery recycling industry. Duh. Anyway, there's my little gripe. So that's one of the programs. We are actually going to give away a solar and battery system to people who are really on struggle street.
I actually have a great idea how to run the campaign for it, but I'll talk about it after.
All right. Well, I'm intrigued. But yes, so we're giving solar and battery systems away to people, both in homes as well as renters, who really are on struggle street, because we do want to demonstrate with their old electricity and their new electricity bill that a quality solar and battery properly installed. You can buy cheap batteries, but it's the installation too, you know. Sometimes the cheaper product, as long as the company is embedded in Australia, willing to back it, you don't need all the ants pants, but that's one of the program series we're going to run.
Just from our experience, installers makes a huge difference from choosing the right cables. That, you know.
Yeah, just the undersizing of the cable alone, which is possibly making a $20 difference.
Not just the cable. What's that switch thing? The
isolators.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, luckily some of them we don't need anymore. So that's one series. And the other one, which is really interesting, is you know how the ministers always come out and go, we've got 4 million solar system. We have the highest per capita. A lot of them, it's like dead ducks. 2 million solar systems over 10 years old. And we actually go on there and had a look at some of them. It's not pretty. It's not pretty out there on Australian roofs. The UV, the sun.
I think the messaging there is like driving without you're getting your car maintained for 10 years. That's literally what it is.
My mother-in-law did that.
Well, your hope is a good car like a Toyota.
It was Camry. A Toyota, but the Camry, the mechanic said when we open your sump, everything in there is solidified.
And it's still
it's still just made it.
It's probably not efficient.
It wasn't worth repairing. So yes, you can drive your car for 10 years as long as you keep on tipping up the oil and never change it in there. But there's a lot of gook on the bottom. Anyway, so yes, solar systems like that. So we found some that had made a lot of money theoretically, $30,000 income per year. In an institution, but unfortunately had been turned off by a maintenance crew.
That's a great video
for 4 years.
Yeah,
they lost 120,000. Another system.
If this is your bank account, you open it and it's minus. People were like panicking, right?
Well, they wasted $120,000 on that system. Another one. There was a hailstorm in 2015. Nobody's ever been on the roof to see what that hailstorm did to the system. So that was an interesting thing. A lot of people, maybe schools, they got solar under a grant. When you get things for free, you don't care for it.
I wonder if there is any product or services out there that is mandatory for a service, like a checkup. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like your car, you don't have to mandatory service it, even though your dealers would say, hey, you should come in.
Well, I'm sure with planes.
Oh, yeah, that's safety, right?
I think you'd have to, there must be a maintenance regime. But I think with batteries, for example.
It has to be.
With batteries, I think in the future there should be something like that.
Yeah, so government mandatory check. Well, just look at our fire system.
Yeah, well, that's mandatory. It has to be checked.
Yeah, so we're talking about live electricity.
I know, but then people in Australia like their freedoms and Big Brother telling us.
There's no freedom. I mean, we have to, every 6 months, we've got to get our fire extinguisher checked. You know?
Yeah.
So why can't that be checked?
Yeah, I know, but then on the same time, we want to probably ask for smaller governments, less bureaucrats to keep the costs down. It's a difficult one.
I think if you look at it from money savings perspective, that people will change their mind. Just like you're pointing out the council.
Oh, look, I think if you have a solar system, anything over 10 kilowatts, you save enough, especially with a battery, that really every 2 or 3 years you should have it checked.
Yeah, unless you're anal like me, checking if the solar is producing.
Oh, yeah. Every day is on the up. I mean, it's a bit possibly like maybe the good example is dentist. You don't go and have maintenance on your teeth.
It's only when you're...
One time when you go, it's going to be really, really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you go occasionally and just have it checked up, then because I now have reasonable good teeth hygiene. I mean, people have to know that. You know, that's really vital for this podcast. But in my teenage years, when I came to Australia, I was very tight on the money. I didn't have much. And then sometimes I lie there in the dentist chair and it really bloody starts hurting and it's going to be really expensive. And at that point in time, I say to myself all the time, why didn't you just go early? Why didn't you just go early? And I feel like that should be...
Well, it's the same with doctor checkup too, right? Annual checkup kind of thing. To see a blood test, to see how, you know, everything's working in order. Or did you catch any additional diseases?
At the last holiday in whatever. Yeah. So anyway, coming back to it. So I would suggest that, you know, a solar and battery system, a car, just occasionally have a check. I think it could long-term save you money.
I think the right messaging is monitoring. Yeah,
Now, there is a plug I would like to give.
sure.
There is a company that does that. If you've got a solar and battery system, any of the guys on our website can actually do after sales. They're probably not that interested right now because of the batteries. Everybody wants to install batteries. But there's also a company that specializes in it called Solar Service Guys.
Yes.
They
and
operate
we
most
have
around Australia.
done a lot of great projects with them.
We've done some videos, yeah.
Almost every system we went to inspect has an issue.
What do you mean always?
Oh, sorry, all of them.
We've gone now on maybe 8 systems with them,
Yeah.
and we didn't pick them.
Yeah.
We didn't pick them because we knew something was wrong. We just had access. Somebody said, "Oh, you got solar. Let me check it out." Dead. Half only working.
Yep.
Water in the isolator.
Yep.
I like the one where the pigeons all came out of the switchboard area. Yeah, so
Lichen.
lichen, my favorite. Lichen on the panels. You hardly can see anything through anymore.
That's some kind of virus on your panel, bacteria growing.
So there's a lot of things that can happen. If you have a solar system, if it's over 6-7 years old, just, you didn't know what's happening up there. Clamps that got missing. So actually the panels start getting loose.
That's dangerous.
That's the dangerous element. So we recommend, have it checked overall, but also what really some of the solar sales guys have lied in the past. You do have a 25-year warranty, but the technology's changed so much that if you have a 220 watt panels now and there's like a 500 watt available from ACO, for your same size roof, you can suddenly get a big double-sized system.
Then how do you argue against people who go, I just buy the cheapest system because in the next 5 years things change?
Yeah, that's a fair point, but you remember when the 100-meter runners got to about 9.9 seconds and people, but it used to be 12.
Are you saying we're
11.
peaking now?
We are getting to the current technology. I believe we're getting moved into 25% efficiency. When I started 2007 or so, I think it was around the 15% efficiency. What that means to explain is the amount of energy that hits the square meter, 15% we get back out of it again, turn in electricity. So the rest of it is just vaporizing here and there. So now we're getting to 25. I think the current technology is 26, 27 is where the limit is.
Until they find a new material.
Well, new this and new that. Yeah. But who knows? I mean, this current technology, the benefit is it's been produced in so many millions of large capacity. It's proven that really to retool everything on that current price point, it is already bloody cheap.
Yeah, fair enough.
So just to make this one point. So I think if you would nowadays buy, you will not see going from a 175 watt panel to a 500 watt panel. You're not going to go to a 1,000 watt panel on that footprint anymore. We have really reached pretty well
the limit of that
550,
silicon,
580. Yeah. So we're not seeing these changes anymore. I think if you lock in now into the technology, you definitely have something to deliver for 15 years.
From what I can see, for most houses, the solar panel efficiency is already enough. The next challenge is the battery. That's it.
Disagree.
No,
disagree. No. I tell you, I want to wrap this thing up very shortly, but I disagree for a reason. Nobody's counting on the EV at the moment. There'll be a point at which you go to the registration office and your EV will cost you $500 to register and your petrol car will cost you $3,000 to register. And your EV will have 1,000K range. And at that point in time, range anxiety is gone. EV chargers will become part of planning in unit blocks all around the place. There will be spots on telegraph poles where you can literally every telegraph pole you can just park and charge. And it's a bit like the parking meter, zip and zap and off you go. And so at that point in time you go, I don't want to pay all that extra money for the electricity for my solar.
Well,
I want it out of the cows. And at that point in time, you want a 13, 15, 20 kilowatt systems on your roof. That means you're going to get a solar carport. You're going to maybe put the pergola, put solar on it, and you want the biggest possible system. So coming back to your point, 260s, 280s will not do it. Do you need high efficient solar panels?
No, I 100% agree. Like we've got a 13.5 kilowatt system here. Now, because we're on amber, we don't export all the solar. So there's a lot of solar that's just wasted. So if we have an EV charger right now, it can be utilized. So my point is like, for, you know, a decent size 8 to 13 kilowatt, I think it's enough for most houses, unless you're running some crazy load. You still have plenty. To
13
charge.
to 15, 18. I think down the track, if we move maybe a gas hot water heater into electric, we move the gas cooking into an induction, that all adds to the electricity use. So, I mean, the golden rule right now, golden rule, solar and batteries, other than you being a pensioner and you're really frugal, bloody get the biggest system that fits on your roof. Just get on there, get nice black panels, make it look decent, get the highest efficient panel, get a black panel for visual aesthetics, and get the biggest system you can get now. You will need it with the EVs coming. You will need it for the battery. You will never regret it. And you become more energy independent on something where at the moment, I believe if you cannot get solar, you're being ripped off. You look at your electricity prices in the next 6 months, you thought they were already pretty bad. They're going to be terrible.
I think it's not just solar. You got to get a battery now.
Well, that's true. If you go solar without a battery, with the feed-in tariff so low, you just got... Finally, the energy retailer, they hated solar for years because it's cutting into their lunch. But they found a way to kill it because that little feed-in tariff is now making, for people who work, make solar much less attractive. Yes, you can put the washing machine on in the middle of the day with the timer and this and that. But seriously, you're much better off with a battery, because I'm finding in the hot summer, my wife is whacking that aircon on like there's no tomorrow from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And that's the peak time where you pay the biggest electricity prices.
Well, the smart thing is to crank on the aircon when the sun's available, so it cooled the whole house down.
Yeah, but even then, we've put in our own videos as education, and it's true. But this is what really happens. I make my house cool in the middle of the day through the solar, and let's say the solar goes down by 6 o'clock, and now I stop my aircon because now I can't run for free anymore. By 8 o'clock, the house is hot again.
Well, I think that's the point, right? I can see it here. If we crank up the aircon at midday, the energy is going to be really peaking. But if you keep the house cool at the temperature, it uses less energy.
Later on in the afternoon.
Correct. So you still can run it through at nighttime.
Look, it's worthwhile, but then I'm wondering what my aircon's going to do when every day I crank it up from, let's say, 11 to 4 and run it hard. Well, even though nobody in the house.
You got free energy.
No, I know, but I don't know how these aircons are being built to run every day, really on high, bang, bang, bang. Maybe somebody says, no, they're designed like that. It's not a problem. I don't know. Anyway, lots to talk about. Lots in 2026 to come.
Yeah.
I think, people actually possibly warm to you and your personality. Maybe you come out in front for the camera a bit more.
Yeah, I've got a couple of pieces that I have in mind that we can do. I'm looking forward to it.
But if we can help Australians and put a bit of pressure on the government to really do something about energy pricing, and bring that really into the middle of the policy framework, I think a lot of families be happy.
I agree. Let's make Australia energy independent, not great again. Let's make Australia energy
Make energy affordable again.
Yeah.
That's probably my catch cry.
Yeah.
Bit of a different podcast. This is the new hero. And till next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Please support the channel by liking the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and check out all our other videos. Want more Energy Answered? Visit yourenergyanswers.com for quality energy products, tools and calculators, and find your quality local installers. You're still here? I'll see you next time. Bye.